right, giving this thing a second, give it a second. Are you turning on? All right, must be started by now. So I just turned 49, right? Yeah, 49. And then the other day, yesterday actually, I was thinking, I'm starting a new year. I should do some kind of self-improvement. I'm always trying to do some kind of self-improvement, but I was just out here digging and doing kind of mindless stuff and just thinking about things. And I was like, what can I do to improve myself that I haven't been doing? And I was like, I could listen to some criticism, right? Because when you get criticism from people, that's often, useful in helping you figure out, some things you're doing wrong that maybe you're not noticing or paying attention to or whatever, right? I thought that might be useful. Plus, one of the criticisms that I know I get at times is that I don't listen to criticism. So now often that's because, when you're trying to do something, like say you're working on your car and you got your hood open and you're like in there and there's grease everywhere and bolts and nuts and tools and just all this crap, and you're trying to figure out what's wrong and doing stuff. And then over here, right back here, you got like 40 people telling you everything you're doing wrong. It's like you can't get anything done if you're paying attention to those people. So you got to put up a sign that says this and then focus on what you're doing and get your stuff done, right? So that's usually what I'm doing. But I was like, all right, well, let me slow down, stop. I'm not doing anything, particular in the evening. So let me see if I can find some of this criticism online that might be useful and, give me some clues of things I can work on for myself. Because, a lot of things are going pretty well. I feel like I'm in pretty good shape physically and my brains are working all right. There's some ups and downs in life, but, things are, I'm dealing with stuff, whatever. So anyway, I go online and man, it was not useful at all. All I found was like all this whining and like, Jaimie's doing the wrong thing because it's not what I wanted. Like that's pretty much the criticism I kept finding. It was completely worthless. So I guess in response to the one criticism I was getting that I was actually trying to address was that I don't listen to criticism. Why? I think I do actually listen to criticism. I think the problem is that I don't automatically presume that criticism I get is valid. First, I think, is this criticism valid? So if someone says, this is what I've gotten like for many, many years, in real life and on the internet, is that I make too much garbage. And this falls under the category of when someone is doing something really well, people get overly critical of them, So it's like someone who makes a normal amount of garbage will look at me and I make like 1% of the amount of garbage they make. And then they'll say, oh, I saw a plastic bottle on the shore of your island in a video, so you're making so much garbage. And it's like, it's like when someone's watching the fastest runner in the world and they see that person and they're faster than anyone else, Usain Bolt, just breaking the world record in 100 meters, right? And they get jealous and say, yeah, he ran fast, but let's just try to nitpick and find some problem because he didn't have the right color shoes, so what kind of runner is he? I'm way better than that guy. It's like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, I kept finding all this criticism about like things I'm not doing absolutely perfectly. And I end up finding that to be the opposite of criticism. It's like a huge, what's the opposite of an insult? I don't even know what the word for it is. It's like very encouraging. It's like, this is the worst thing that we could find about you, Jaimie. So it wasn't helpful at all. And I think another problem with the criticism thing is that, I'm a little bit famous. Not actually famous, but a tiny bit famous. So that means people I don't know, like on the internet, you give me criticisms, right? And I'll get the same criticism like 500 times. and I'll respond to it the first maybe dozen times. And then after that, I'll just be like, oh, it's just that again, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But this, the 247th person doesn't know that I already addressed it a dozen times in the past. So to them, I'm just like, just not listening to people. So I think, that's just, I don't think that's a problem I'm having. Sean Laurie has some feedback. There's a bunch of comments here. Let's see. Here's my feedback, which I have given in other forms. Oh, stop moving, you stupid thing. These lives are interesting and fun sometimes, but it's difficult to have more than 1 or 2 sentences before you have moved on. These lives are interesting and fun sometimes, but it's difficult to have more than 1 or 2 sentences before you have moved on. Okay, here. Sean Laurie has some feedback. You're basically telling me that you want me to stick on a topic of what you want me to talk about. So throw your criticism in here. If you got some criticism, bring it on. I'll address it right now. Even if it's one that I've already addressed in the past. Whatever it is, let's go. The thing is, if it's something like under normal circumstances, if you bring up something that I've already addressed like a dozen times in the past, I'll just like rattle it off real quick and move on, because I can't just, every time someone brings something up, I can't go into a big long thing because it gets a little ridiculous. All right, let's see. What's he got to talk about here? This is Sean Laurie again. Whereas if you interact with your videos not live, you have an opportunity to discuss none temporarily. Okay. So your criticism is what you're saying here. These lives are interesting and fun sometimes, but it's difficult to have more than 1 or 2 sentences before you have moved on. Are you saying I go from topic to topic too quickly, but in the videos I discuss things more thoroughly? I don't know. I'm not sure what you're going on about here. Anyway, was there anything else I wanted to talk about? I mean, so I went online and I went through a whole bunch of criticisms, like pages of this stuff. And over, I was like, I just kept finding that it was just stuff that was not of any value. Like one of the criticisms was that I keep trying to reinvent the wheel. I've addressed this in the past. First, I'm not always trying to reinvent the wheel. Most of the stuff I do is stuff like I've built kayaks. I didn't invent kayaks. Those are kayaks. Or like catamarans, or like I have an electric solar powered trimaran. I'm not the first one who ever built that. Now, I do make a lot of stuff custom, and I do occasionally like actually legit invent something from scratch. But the criticism was that I waste a lot of time, reinventing the wheel. And I think he's talking about like doing things myself, like do it yourself instead of just buying something, which is much faster. Well, that's definitely debatable about it being faster. Now, if you have the money and you're at the place where you can buy the thing, that's going to be faster. But if you're on an island, like say I need a propeller for a boat, right? I can make one faster than I can go get one. But even besides that, if I buy one, I don't learn anything about propellers other than what the sales guy tells me or what I can read in the instructions or whatever. But if I make propellers from scratch, which I've been doing for years, I learn so much. Like my first propellers compared to my propellers now, it's just, it's totally like night and day. I've learned so much about, fluid dynamics and how to manufacture a propeller that works well and blah, blah, blah. I've learned so much. And this is one of the really valuable things about doing things yourself. And I think that criticism about wasting time, like doing things myself, and maybe there's another take on this about, I'm reinventing the wheel, but I'm interpreting it as doing things myself, like doing my own idea, blah, blah, blah. I think that is more of a reflection of our society we have today, where people don't do anything. Like, you go back a couple hundred years, people, like, your wagon wheel broke, you didn't automatically go and buy a new one. You tried to fix it. Maybe you make one. You know, the people did stuff, you know, they would do it themselves. They did so much stuff themselves. It's just in the modern world today, like, everything has been reduced to an amount of money. So, I gotta turn the light on, don't I? Oh, there we go. It's a little better. So anything breaks, oh, it costs this much money to replace it. And now people are just replacing things over and over, and that is making mountains of garbage, to go back to the criticism about how much garbage I make, right? But you know, when you repair things and do things yourself and reuse garbage and, you know, upcycle or whatever, you know, whatever fancy terms you want to use, that's reducing garbage, right? So that's why that just all these criticisms, they didn't make sense. And then just, yeah, the amount of stuff you learn by doing stuff yourself. Oh, another criticism I got was that I'm arrogant for trying my own ideas instead of just doing what everyone else does. Because, you know, if I'm trying my own ideas, that means I somehow think I'm better, I'm smarter than everyone else, and that's why I'm trying. You know, that's why I think my idea is going to be better than everyone else's. But that, I'll tell you, if you're someone who actually tries to like invest in your own ideas, it is not an arrogant thing. It is very humbling, because what you very quickly realize is that if anything goes wrong, it's your fault. So it has nothing to do with arrogance. That doesn't make any sense at all. So I have to think that criticism is coming from someone who just doesn't take a chance on their own ideas, which I would highly recommend. It's super scary when you're first doing it, because you're taking all that responsibility on yourself. For example, when I first moved off grid, I mean, everyone told me, don't do that, it's a bad idea, terrible thing, everything's going to go wrong, blah, blah, blah. And then when I moved off grid and I knew this was going to happen, if any small, tiny amount of anything went wrong, oh, it's because you went off grid, you shouldn't have done that. You know, it's like anything you do that's not mainstream, there's a large group of people who are just going to jump on it with their ridiculous criticism of you didn't do what everyone else is doing, which doesn't make any sense. That criticism is just not valid. Anyway, I could go on and on about this, but basically the conclusion after like reading several pages of criticisms of me, which are apparently really easy to find online, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm doing all right, because all the criticisms were like just like whiny little bitch stuff that didn't make any sense, you know. So I think maybe I'm doing all right. I'm not gonna let it go to my head and think now I'm arrogant, now I'm doing everything right or anything. But I think I'm doing all right. Anyway, let's see what you guys are talking about. Maybe Sean Laurie got somewhere with what he was talking about. Hiya, champ. What's up, Drew? Mr. Landfill, you are like always here. Mr. Landfill. So Mr. Landfill is a moderator. Maybe I shouldn't tell everyone that when I'm about to say what I'm about to say, but one of the criticisms I read was that if anyone in any of my lives says anything that I even remotely don't like at all, I boot them out, I kick them out, and I get so upset. I don't actually do that. My moderators take care of that for me. So thanks, man. I don't know how to boot someone. Oh man. So yeah, I'm just gonna go back to getting things done and not worrying about criticism. Oh, the other thing about criticisms, which is funny that I think happens with a lot of people, that people who are criticizing don't realize. See, this is what happens with a lot of people who are actually doing things. The people talking, trying to, you know, tell them not to do stuff, or they're doing stuff wrong and everything. Often the person doing things, and this is totally true with me, is like 1,000 times more critical of themselves than any of the critics. So like any of the criticism I get is like, it's like a drop in the bucket compared to what I say to myself. Like if you heard inside my own head the criticism I give myself like constantly, you'd be like, whoa, don't be so hard on yourself, man. I mean, at least turn it down to like a David Goggins level or something, man. Chill, you know? And I bet David Goggins, in his head, he's criticizing himself way harder than he lets on. Because, yeah, like people who do stuff, like a lot of times the way we get success is to be really hard on ourselves and push ourselves and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, what do we got going on here? Tony Simmons, what's up, man? I was thinking on firing up my amplifier to kick out some tunes. Don't fire up your amplifier too much because it bothers neighbors, you know? It's always nice when you let other people hear their own thoughts in the world and stuff. I always find it rude when people think that other people need to hear what I am doing. It's a very childish thing. Not that I'm saying that's what you're doing. Hopefully not. But yeah, I've had neighbors just blasting music in the past. It's just super irritating. I mean, I can ignore it, but whatever. Lois says, hi, Jaimie. Looking good as always. Enjoy your evening. Well, thank you, Lois. Wizard of the North. Oh, I love these names. While you do have to take a lot of the advice criticism you receive with a grain of salt, it's important to know that there are a lot of experienced people online. Okay, now I'm getting the impression that you think that I'm not listening. I don't know if you're saying that specifically to me or if you're just like making a general comment. There are a lot of experienced people online. Here's something I've learned, is that a lot of times people with a lot of experience, even people who would call themselves experts, and particularly people who have papers that say they're experts, often give the worst advice. And I've found, and this is just anecdotal. I have not done any studies on this. This is just my own experiences. Like a lot of my biggest mistakes in the past have happened because I went against what I thought I should do, and I did what like a more experienced person did or told me to do. Like, for example, when I first started making boats, I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, I had some ideas of what I should do and, you know, whatever, but I was so inexperienced. I was like, I should ask people who have experience. And I got a lot of bad advice from people who had built boats, like boats that they sailed across the ocean and stuff. And after I started building boats and learned more, I started realizing what the problems were with what they were doing and why they could build a boat really fast that would go across the ocean, but then would fall apart in 2 years. You know, and that's not useful to me at all. Like if I'm going to build something, I want it to last. So yeah, I got a lot of bad boat advice from experts, like total experts, people who were like so experienced and had done so much and felt they were so expert. They felt completely comfortable giving out advice and showing all this stuff they've done. Look at all. But yeah, the worst advice I got in building boats was from experts, and a lot of the best and not even the best advice, just the best ideas came from people who like had no experience. So there was a guy who lived not too far away from here. We were kind of getting into boat building at the same time. I ended up going a lot further than him, but he was kind of starting out, you know, made a couple little boats, you know, played around a little. And at the beginning, we were both just talking to each other like, man, these experts are saying we should be doing this, but that doesn't really make sense, does it? And the guy's like, yeah, I don't get it. But, you know, they're the experts. They must know what they're talking about. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, you know, because like there must be some reason they're not doing it the way we would just think it would be. And then it turns out the way we were just thinking was much better. So like in all the boat stuff I've made, like pretty much all the ideas I've got have, you know, beyond just the basic boat ideas, have been stuff that I just thought would work. And then I did it and it worked. And the worst advice, the worst things I did were things like building a wood boat coated in fiberglass. Terrible idea. And it seemed like a bad idea, but all these people were doing it and recommending it. And I'm just like, well, what happens if there's like any tiny crack or hole in the fiberglass and water gets into the wood? Don't worry about it. And then I find out later, oh no, you have to repair that constantly. And it's like, what? Why don't you just make the boat fully fiberglass and then you don't have to constantly repair rotting wood? Like, what? And I can give tons of examples through my life of experts giving me terrible advice. So I don't know. You definitely have a point there that there are a lot of experienced people online, but people's experience doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. You really got to look at what their experience is and what they're doing. And I've kind of learned how to distinguish people who have gained useful knowledge from their experience and people who are just full of crap. Basically anyone who has academic experience, don't listen to them. They might have something useful to say, but it's just like flipping a coin. Like this person may have good advice, may have bad advice. Every sentence they say out of their mouth could be right or wrong. And it's like I could just flip a coin and pick whatever I'm doing and do no better than with the academic advice. The best advice comes from people who are like dirty and not flashy. They're not showing their expertise. People don't regard them as like, these like highfalutin fancy members of society and stuff. It's usually the humble dudes, women too, but I'm just gonna say dudes as a general term, not gender specific, but just like the humble dudes who do their stuff and use what they make. And that's one of the really important things. They have to actually use what they make. Because so many people who are experts, they tell other people what to do, but then they're not there for the results. The people who really understand things are like the farmer who went and bought a tractor and was like, this is garbage, it doesn't work. And then he spent 3 weeks tearing it apart, rebuilding it, making it different, turning it into something that's like twice as useful. That guy has good advice. But the person at the store who sold the tractor, who's the expert, they have all the pamphlets and all the flashy stuff, and they got the signs and the neon and the blink, 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 completely worthless. So yeah, if you want to get advice, don't go to these experienced people on the internet. I mean, usually the most experienced people, they're not hanging out on Reddit, like spending all day, like telling, like dispensing amazing advice. And this was another thing. Someone was upset that I don't. In one of the lives, someone asked what YouTubers I watch, and I was like, not really anything. And apparently, several people got upset that I don't like watch all these YouTube people and support them and stuff. But like I wake up before the sun comes up. And I work till the sun goes down. I'm usually eating in the dark at night. I mean, not in the dark. It's dark outside. I have to turn a light on in here. But like I'm just going all day. I don't have time to sit around watching videos. Anyway. Oh, that was a huge tangent I went off on there. Let's see. There was more to that question. There are a lot of experienced people online. For example, if someone has been making fiberglass boats as a career, that's not useful. The guy selling the stuff, don't take advice from them. Take advice from the person who builds it and uses it themselves. So if he's only selling them, I wouldn't trust the advice. But if he's selling them and also using his boats himself, that's a different thing. Their whole life, it may be prudent to see if they have any advice. Oh, that's hilarious, because that's exactly the example I used. Well, not exactly, but yeah, I asked boat experts. Some of them were, experts who built boats like for themselves, for other people. Some like sold boats. They all gave the worst advice. The worst advice came from the people who had careers selling boats. Because doing something to make money does not make you an expert. It's really easy to sell things. It's much easier to sell garbage than it is to produce something good. And this is something I learned, was it last week or the week before? I was talking about when I was in the toy industry. And, I was meeting with all these heads of these, the big stores of the world. And finally one of them just broke down and was like, I can't handle you anymore, dude. We sell garbage. We don't sell anything good. We everything is marketing. We're not trying to produce good products. We're just trying to sell garbage because it's easy. That's how you make money. So if someone is doing something for money to sell it, don't trust what they're doing, because it's easy to sell something. It's much harder to produce something that's good than use it for a lifetime. Yeah, and like a lot of the things that I've made and then refined over time, I could have just produced the first version of what I made, or maybe the second or the third version, and just sold those. And people would have been like, whoa, this is amazing. But by like the 30th revision, it's way better than the other thing. So if I just stopped to make money, I would have lost all this R&D, right? Anyway, okay, here's my feedback. I read that one. Wizard of the North. Oh, and hi, Jaimie. Longtime viewer, first time stream viewer. Excellent, man. I think I started watching your videos in 2008. So that was like 16 years ago. I think 16 years ago. You were making the center bearing for the giant robot, trying to make it out of drawer slides, if I recall correctly. Well, close enough. The drawer slides were a different part, but yeah. I bet you can't build a concrete kayak. I bet I could. That's not even that much of a challenge. Although it would be a total waste of time because I don't think it'd be very good. Criticism. Okay. Oh, God. Lois says, it is rude to show your amazing body like that when I'm so far away. Oh, shucks. Oh, man. Brown chicken, I'm actually sweating a little bit, like just like right here. It's not that hot, but I always get a little warm when I'm doing so much talking. But yeah, it's like the temperature here is right at the point where if I chill, I'm not sweating. But if I'm start moving around and stuff, yeah, I start to sweat just a little bit. So yeah, I'm not wearing a shirt, not in the tropics. Let's see. There's a lag, just like right now. Hard to have a back and forth about specific ideas. Yeah, Sean Laurie, I don't know if this is really the format to have a back and forth about specific ideas. Like if you want to have a conversation with someone about specific ideas, it's best if you only have a few people or even one-on-one. Right now, there are 46 people watching, and I don't know how many are commenting, but I don't know how many of those people are going to be interested in the conversation you have. But if you have something interesting to talk about, bring it up. And when I kind of catch up on comments, I'll address it. You know what? Probably the best time to do what you're talking about, to have a back and forth, would be when I say I got to the end of the comments and there's nothing there, because that's like your chance to be like, all right, now he's at the end of comments, he's going to read this right now, and then we could actually have a back and forth conversation. So I guess that would be the time to do it. Johnny Sins, I don't know what that means. What am I missing here? Oh well. Is he your favorite actor? Is who your favorite actor? I don't know. You guys must be talking about something I don't know. Ex-Muslim says hi. Sean Laurie, I'm not sure how much time you spend editing your videos. Oh, but like almost nothing. But maybe add an hour to that and just answer comments on your videos. Engagement returns more views, maybe reach more people. Yeah, I used to read all the comments, but it's just there's too much nonsense in the comment section. Like there are definitely some good comments, and like things I would like to talk about and stuff, but then it just so quickly devolves into just the nonsense criticism I was talking about earlier. And a lot of times, like if I read the comments on YouTube videos, it's just the same things over and over and over. And I'm like, okay, I already talked about that like 3 weeks ago. I don't want to keep talking about the same thing over and over because that's going to get boring for me and for everyone else. So, and plus, like, I don't know where you think I have all this time to sit around just answering comments. This live. This is the chance to talk about stuff. If there's something you want to talk about a video, I read all these comments here, unless someone's rude and my moderator boots it before I get to it, which I got to thank him for. Yeah, engagement returns more views, maybe reach more people. Okay, one thing is, a lot of the channels on YouTube have like multiple people doing them. This is just me, and 99% of my energy goes into what I'm doing. And then whatever I have left goes into doing the videos. And I just don't have time to promote and answer all these questions and stuff. And like I was saying, that's the point of doing this live. I try to do at least one live every week. So people who have questions or want me to talk about something, that this is your chance to bring it up. Keith says rebar, just playing, no complaints from me. All right, so this is I haven't used rebar. This good thing you brought this up, because this is definitely one of the criticisms I've got in the past. I'm not using any rebar in any of the concrete I'm doing, and I chose to do that because rebar, like steel inside concrete, once it starts rusting, it expands and pops open the concrete. And that's, as far as I understand, that's why modern buildings have like a 50-year lifespan, because the metal inside the concrete eventually starts getting rusty and just pops the concrete open because it expands. And then repairing that is, it's a disaster. It's such a mess. And I don't know that my buildings are going to last any longer, but I want to try different things, because maybe something good will come out of it. And that's one of the things about trying different things. Is like, if everyone just always does the same thing, there's no growth, there's no learning, there's no new ideas. I think it's really valuable to try new things, because who knows? Like maybe you'll try something, maybe you'll try like 100 different ideas and they'll all flop. But then the 101th will be like some amazing thing that's like, wow, why haven't I been doing this all life? I would actually say, in my experience, the numbers have been much better than that. Like a lot of things that I've tried that I haven't seen anyone else doing, that I'm just like, well, I kind of want to try that, see how it goes. A lot of that stuff ends up working out really well. For example, like making stainless steel shovels. I was like, I think I should have a stainless steel shovel, fully stainless steel shaft, stainless steel end, totally stainless steel shovels, because then they'll last, right? And a lot of people are like, nah, you can't do that because it's a different kind of metal. It won't be strong enough. No, it'll get metal fatigue and break. No, it's going to be too heavy. There was all these, I don't know, things people were just making up just to try to say why it's not going to work. I only have stainless steel shovels now. Like that's the only kind of shovels I use, and they're amazing. It's so awesome. Like I can leave my shovel out in my dig zone. I don't even have to put it away somewhere. It can get rained on. The sun can hit it. It's just fine. It's great having that kind of thing. But if I had the wood handle and the regular steel, it'd be rusting and rotting and falling apart, right? Anyway, your life is super cool. My ideas are just about your YouTube channel, really. Thanks for conversing. Well, thank you too. Another criticism that I read a bunch of times was that I keep just doing my own ideas, and I won't try other people's ideas. So other people have told me things that I should try, but I didn't try it. Dude, if you have an idea, you try it. You do it. That's the point. You have your own idea, you try it. It's not my responsibility to try all your ideas for you. That's your responsibility. You get out of your chair and go do whatever idea you want to try. And if all your ideas are only relevant to other people's lives, maybe you should change your ideas and start thinking about what you could do to improve your own life in whatever way, you know? Let's see. We live in an age of outrage. It is an age of outrage. See, for me to go online and look up criticisms I'm getting, I definitely had to be in the right mindset. Because man, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of like Jaimie hate. But you know, if I'm in the right mindset, I can be like, okay, I know what I'm walking into here. But yeah, a lot of outrage. People just want to be mad at something. Yeah, totally, exactly. And I think a lot of the problem is people are so upset with themselves and their lives, and they feel stuck. And actually, you know, one of the criticisms I was getting was that I make too much garbage. And like I was saying, like I make like 1% of the amount of garbage, if that, of like a normal person in North America. Like I make so little garbage. But then I read later down on the page, that same guy a while later wrote back and said, you know, I was actually just projecting, you know, because I'm upset about a bunch of garbage I haven't dealt with. So I was giving Jaimie crap about garbage, just because I was upset about my own garbage, which I've now cleaned up and I feel better about it. And I've realized that I was just kind of projecting. And that was cool. That was really cool that that guy, he didn't have to admit that. That took some courage, you know, to come out and say that and you know, put yourself in the position where you're going to face people thinking, oh, you're an idiot. You shouldn't have done that. Now you admitted it. Now you're really stupid. No, it's really cool that you realize something like that and then you can admit it. That's a really good thing. Let's see. Let's see, where was I? I'll take that one. What, Jaimie, live this late? Sweet, yes. Automatic. You told me what your name was before. I don't remember what it was now. Automatic. Whenever I see your name, Automatic, I always think of like an automatic, you know. Seasoned Curly says, hi, Jaimie. More of a suggestion here. Get off the island for a bit, see some stuff, maybe gain a little perspective and possibly meet a lady. Could be a good thing to force yourself to get away. Well, I mean, some of that, I mean, I do get off the island. Gain a little perspective. I don't know what perspective you want me to gain. I feel like I get the best perspective when I'm here and I turn off all my electronics and I'm just here and I can focus on what I'm doing. I can think about my goals, plan things out. I feel like that's when I get in the best perspective. But, you know, gain a little perspective, possibly meet a lady. That would be nice. You know, I go around a bit. I've been being a little more social lately. And in a couple weeks, I'm going to go to a thing. Maybe I'll make video of the thing that I'm going to. There's a triathlon not far from here. It's not like a huge triathlon. It's just a little triathlon that I think I'm going to go to. But I don't want to make a big deal right now because I've got a strained left calf, so I need to make sure I can, you know, kind of get that straightened out in the next couple weeks. I know I mentioned the strained left calf, I don't know, probably like a month ago or something. But I keep working, you know, and not entirely letting it heal, which I kind of need to do. It's not getting any worse, but yeah, I need to let it heal, you know. Hi, Jay. This is from Fox MD. I've been thinking about your partner situation. Oh, I have a few friends in Australia that have Thai wives. They are beautiful and hardworking people. A Thai women? More than one? Sorry, there's a mosquito there. Thai women would fit well with off the grid. I like how you say Thai women because I need more than one because I'm a big gentleman, I guess. Yeah, the problem with that is like, do I have to go all the way to Thailand? I don't have time for that. But if you know one, let me know, man. I don't know. To be honest, Jaimie. Oh, sorry. There should be a comment here. Not a comment, a comma here. Mr. Landfill, yes, you should have a comma after, to be honest, I think. To be honest, Jaimie tolerates more than the other channels I mod on. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like whenever I read the comments, I read them all. And I try to answer them, even if it's something that's kind of insulting, you know, I try to answer it. Jaimie goes to the beat of his own drum. Get over it, and the drum beat rocks. Well, thank you, man. Yeah. I think like, yeah, exactly, man. We shouldn't be trying to force people to all be the same. Let people be different. Encourage people to be different, because that's how we get interesting things in the world. If everyone's the same, it's boring. My wife and I spent 20 hours working on our sailboat this weekend. It takes a lot of effort to reach launch potential. Most great things are not easy. A little bit every day gets us up the mountain. Yeah, totally, man. You know, I used to have a friend. Well, I still know her. I just haven't seen her in a while. But she used to always refer to like giant projects as eating the elephant one bite at a time. Because, you know, if you were eating an elephant, you have some giant barbecue of an elephant, and you got to eat the whole thing. Well, you eat it one bite at a time. That's like these big projects. Yeah, you just keep going one step at a time and be consistent and keep going, and you get somewhere. Automatic says experts equal typically educated beyond their own intelligence. That is a problem. That is a huge problem for a lot of people. Yeah, when they get educated beyond what they can really understand, a lot of people think that. See, the problem here is like when a person's not that smart, they don't understand how smart someone else could be. So this happens all the time when someone is like, maybe you call it overeducated, but they've got a lot of education and they've been told more, they've learned more than they could ever possibly figure out themselves. And they think, wow, now I've got the keys to this knowledge. That's amazing. But often they don't understand that other people can get that knowledge too. And just because you have that knowledge that you think is so amazing doesn't mean it's above other people's heads. Like, yeah, this is the biggest problem with experts is experts who are not very intelligent, because they don't realize how intelligent other people can be. And so they try to pretend that everyone is as dumb as them, you know, not to be rude, but yeah. And it gets so condescending. Okay. Let's see. The hypothetical example I gave was about fiberglass boats. Yeah, the main reason fiberglass boats have wood in them is the fiberglass becomes less flexible the thicker it is. So there is some advantages to having wood when it comes to cutting through waves. I mean, you can expert me all you want on this. I am never building a boat with wood in it, unless it's a wood boat. If it's a wood boat, fine. But a fiberglass, no. I'm a tiny bit curious if Chris, who's made this comment, has boat building and boat using experience, or if he's doing what I just talked about, which is like, well, I heard this somewhere, I read it in a book, and some expert told me, and now I have expert information I can dispense, which is useless. It's totally useless. Yeah, I don't see any value in what you said there. I don't mean to be rude, but yeah, I think you just word vomited nothing. Okay, the best advice comes from people not indoctrinated. Yeah, the crazy people, but not the crazy people who like literally need pills, because they're like, Like the people who are sane but society deems crazy, that's the smart people. That's who the people who will give you good advice. Like the people who are getting excellent results, but society deems them bad or deems them wrong, but they're still getting good results. That's because they're figuring things out. They're learning. They're doing things beyond what the man wants them to do. Because so they're achieving all this success on their own. Because those are the people who have the best advice, and they generally don't dispense it freely. Like you have to ask them, unless they have a YouTube channel and they barf dumb advice all over the place all the time. This may be a long shot since you live on an island, but it would be great if you could get faster internet. There's quite a long lag on the stream. Really? There's a long lag on this? Well, do you mean it's a lag like my voice isn't matching up with like my mouth movement? Or do you mean there's a lag like I'm not reading the comments as fast as they're coming in? Because that's just how fast I'm reading the comments. Oh, okay. Yeah, for the viewers, you reply to comments a few minutes after they're posted. Well, that's just because I read them. Like, okay, there's 54 people watching right now. If 10% of them are writing comments, that's 5 people writing comments. And if I'm reading and responding to everyone, I'm going to be behind. That's my lag, not the internet. I mean, I could just read them and just make real snappy responses. But I feel like if someone's taken the time to write something, I should try to give some kind of well thought out response as well as I can do in a few minutes here and there. Okay. Jaimie has, I think this is supposed to say, Jaimie, have you thought about making legs for your fiberglass dome? It would get some, making legs for your fiberglass dome. It would get some airflow and give you those few extra inches, make working easier. Are you talking about the fiberglass dome where I'm working on the kayak? To put legs to lift it up a bit? It doesn't really need extra airflow. It's got like a giant hole in the front and the back. Air goes through pretty easily. I don't know. I think it's fine how it is. I don't know if I've thought about it. I probably have, but I think it's fine the way it is. Wizard of the North, just how is it he is on like a 1 or 2 minute delay? Yeah, I've never watched one of these lives before. The internet routing from Panama adds a lot of latency too. Well, the thing is, like the reason I'm reading comments later. Well, you want me to scroll all the way to the bottom of the comments and I read the one that's just been posted? Then I would be skipping a whole bunch of people. So yeah, it's definitely my lag, not the internet. Unless you can see my mouth moving different than my sound is coming out. Okay, very true. I'm going on a 20.5 mile solo hike day in New Hampshire tomorrow. That's great. Hello, do you have any advice for milling with a drill press? No, just be careful, man. Just be careful, wear some chainmail. Yeah, I mean, if you're milling with a drill press, I presume you've got some kind of, table there with the little knobs that move it around. Probably if you're doing it, you've thought about it enough to realize, you can't do anything heavy duty and just be safe, Joshua says, kick ass. Haven't seen your videos in a while. Take care, dude. Well, thanks, man. Jonathan Brett has retracted a message. Oh, what did you say? All right, move on. What are the big advantages of having wood? Oh, God. Having wood in your fiberglass on a boat is when the glass cracks, the boat does not break up. It still has the wood. Think of it like rebar and concrete. All right, again, Chris, you're just fiberglass is stronger than wood, man. Like if you're gonna have wood versus fiberglass, the wood is not gonna outperform the fiberglass. Not in any sort of long-term situation. But I don't know. Maybe yeah, I don't know. I'm just going with fiberglass. I'm sure you can get some wood that's like super like marine grade and can handle anything or whatever. I don't know. But like fiberglass versus I'm not putting wood in any boats. Think of it like rebar and concrete. No, wood is not the rebar in concrete. That is, wood is the rebar in fiberglass. In fiberglass, the fiberglass is the rebar in the plastic. You know what fiberglass is, right? It's just plastic with glass fibers in it. The glass fibers are the rebar. I'm starting to think, Chris, that you don't have any experience building boats and you have no idea what you're talking about. But maybe you do. I don't know. And maybe I'm being an idiot. Who knows? Are you still going to make a banked running track on the second floor? Absolutely, yes. I actually started planing boards for that because I think the second floor boards are not shrinking anymore. They might still shrink a bit, but I think I'm pretty much at the point where I could kind of squeeze them all together. Take the screws out of the boards and just shove them all to one side, take up all the gaps. And they're not very big gaps have opened, just a little bit. And that's from, the board shrinking from drying. But they don't seem to be getting any bigger. So I can probably do that soon. And then, work on the banked part of the track, which is going to be, it's going to be super cool. My 5-year-old didn't entirely understand what I was talking about when I was talking about the bank track. When I actually described it, showed him what it's going to be, he was like, whoa, that's cool. So yeah, my kids are kind of excited about that too. Kevin Mackin says, don't be ignorant. I think you're probably responding to a comment. There was a retracted comment right above that. Maybe that, I don't know. Okay. Chris says, no, rebar concrete has its advantages. It's just weaker than concrete with rebar in terms of flexing. Chris, I feel like you're just talking a lot. I don't know. What are you trying to say here? Like, do you have a point, or are you just blah blah blah? Stainless steel or titanium rebar last a bit. Last a bit longer. That would last way longer. I did briefly look up stainless reinforcement in concrete. It was way more expensive because hardly anyone uses it. So stainless rebar is very rarely used because of the cost. Some bridges use, but that's about it. Almost all the reason not to use stainless is cost. Well, the funny thing is, stainless steel costs more, but it lasts longer by an amount that is bigger than the cost. Like it costs like 4 times as much, but it'll last like 100 times. But the thing is, our society right now is so focused on right now. Everything is short term. We're not enough people are thinking about the long term, and all our society is built on disposable nonsense. Let's see, who is this Buffalo Bill? Nice, you want to hear something? I don't know. That was just a bunch of messages that made no sense. All right, let's see. I'm the garbage guy, Sean Laurie says. Oh, you're the garbage guy. Hey, Sean. Well, yeah, thanks, man. When, your comment about, you were projecting your own garbage. Very, very, very honorable of you to say that after the fact when you totally didn't have to. That was pretty cool, man. Hey, it's Jan. We met in Periscope in person. I think this was before COVID. I think it's supposed to be. There's a lot of typos in this. How are you? I think I know who this is. Jan. Yes, before COVID. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who you are. Automatic said, you said my name perfectly. But Jan, I'm pretty sure I remember who you are. Yeah, totally. Andrew says, hope all is going good. Well, I can't say all is going good, but more or less, yeah, pretty good. There are always ups and downs, of course. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hope you are doing well. Oh yeah, it's Cinco de Mayo, right? Oh, there's a big election today, actually, in Panama. It might be for the head honcho job, actually. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that much. What does he mean? Get off the island. I want to get out of the city. Oh yeah, that's funny, Kevin. Yeah, when I used to live in a city, like I grew up in the suburbs, then I was in a major city for a while, and I lived a significant part of my life in the concrete jungle, and yeah, I always just wanted to get out of it. Now that I'm in the wilderness, I don't feel like I want to get away. I love it here, man. Like if I have a day to myself where I have nothing going on. Oh yeah, like my birthday, for example. You know what I did for my birthday? I just hung out here with my kids. My daughter gave me this little clay dragon she made. I'll have to get a picture of it. It's really, really cool. I was super impressed. I was like, wow, you made this? Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, for my birthday, I was just like, I just want to hang out here. I just want to, dig some dirt, maybe plane a couple boards, hang out with my kids, shoot some bows and arrows. Oh yeah, we started shooting bows and arrows up at the top of the hill. I set up a little target thing just in the dirt. Yeah, I mean, I love it here. I don't want to get off the island. I love it. But I do understand, I'm not gonna meet any women hanging out on an island. So, oh, zombie. What are you talking about, zombies? In regards to the concrete discussion, what would happen if you used a rot-resistant wood for reinforcement, 1x1 strip or something like that? Don't know anything about anything, just brainstorming. I don't know. Oh, yeah, Chris is answering that. Yeah, you guys can talk about it. It works, but it's weaker than steel and it has a lot of the same problems as steel they do in some less developed countries. I have not built a boat, but I have owned a 40-foot cat. Yeah, Chris, okay, look. I think you're dispensing advice that's above your pay grade. Like living on a boat does not mean you know how to build one. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but that's just a reality, And I've had to face realities such as this before. And it's really good to face that kind of stuff because then you realize how much you don't know. Because it's really easy to say, I live on a boat, therefore I know everything about boats. But the problem is you know nothing compared to someone who builds boats or someone who repairs boats or someone who sells them across the ocean if you don't do that. Or, there's all kinds of stuff that you don't know. And it's always important to be aware, to have that level of humility where you can say, yeah, there's tons of stuff I don't know. And just be comfortable with that, No, this thing is fine. Voice matches video fine. Little to no latency. All right, so there's no lag. The lag is just in me responding to the comments, and that's just me reading comments. Fiberglass rebar sounds like a great idea. Actually, I ordered some recently off Amazon. Fiberglass shreds, just like shreds. I guess shreds. I'm sure there's another name for it, but strands, little strands of fiberglass. I ordered a 40-pound bag of it, and you mix it in with concrete, and it, gives it some tensile strength. I mean, more tensile strength. And then I also bought a roll of fiberglass that is for concrete reinforcement. So that stuff should be here in a couple weeks. I'm excited to test that stuff out, see how it goes. I have some ideas for how to use it. One thing that would be really cool would be to wrap my entire house in that fiberglass cloth. It's like a fiberglass mesh, kind of like what you'd use to build a boat or something, except there's more space between the fibers. Like fiberglass mesh you use to build a boat, the fibers are tight, right? So because you don't want any space. But this stuff, it's like, it's got space. So the concrete can get right through and everything. And it's supposed to be, it's supposed to not react with the concrete and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I think it would be super cool to wrap my entire house in that stuff and then spackle it. Well, spackle it as I go, whatever. And it would just make like a super strong outer surface and just reinforce the whole thing. Not that I necessarily think it needs it, but it would be nice to know that there's just like this massive amount of extra strength on my house. Like I said, this is my first time viewing a live stream as it's live. The way you take time to reply to every comment is amazing. Keep it up, my man. Well, thank you. I'll try to not to take too long, so I don't have too much of a delay. Yeah, but for anyone who's writing a comment that I'm not immediately reading, I'm going through all of them as they come in. Automatic is a thing. I have done 2 jobs in my career as a concrete carpenter, very expensive, like stainless. I have done 2 jobs in my career as a concrete carpenter, very expensive, like stainless. Man, I love stainless steel. Stainless steel is awesome. The main concern with milling with a drill press is the chuck coming out of the collet, but I've successfully done it with fair results. That is actually the first thing I thought about, was the chuck coming out of the collet when you when you're using a drill press as a mill. But yeah, just make sure you do it really safe, because that can totally happen. Safety chain mill, part of every PPE kit here in Canada. I don't know what PPE is. I never know acronyms. PPP, PPE, PowerPoint exchange, something about safety. That and poor rigidity, which is important for machining steel. Oh, this is about the using a drill to machine, like to mill. Yeah, I would not use a drill press to machine steel. Like wood and plastic, you can get away with it. If you're doing like aluminum, I'd be pretty wary of doing that. Like if you really just need one part, you might get away with it. Just be extra safe. But I wouldn't try it on anything steel. Yeah, it's just gonna be too much side pressure. The chuck's gonna fall right out. Fox MD says, Jay, you don't have to go to Thailand. You can meet Thai women online. There are also agencies that have women who are looking for Western men. I don't know. Is that? I would be nervous about meeting someone online and flying them here. Like, there's just a lot of pressure on both people. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it works just fine. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting to talk to someone who's done it, like a few people who've done it, just to see how it goes and whatever. Thanks. Yeah, I've been trying, but it's pretty. Let me see. This is a response to something. Okay, let's just read it. Thanks. Yeah, I've been trying, but it's been pretty suboptimal. Just been trying everything before going. Oh, okay. This is about the drilling, milling with a drilling machine. Yeah, I've been trying, but it's pretty suboptimal. Yeah, definitely. Just been trying everything before going for a proper milling machine. Was just curious in case you had some drill press hacks. Yeah, when you get your hands on a milling machine, oh, when you get a milling machine, oh, it's so amazing. Oh, it's so good. Oh, you just disconnected me during my dance. All right, where are we? Are we back to where it was? Okay, would you want? Okay, wait. Okay, yeah, okay. I don't know where that cut out, but I cut out for a second. Okay, Jack says, would you want someone to hedge and lie to you about your opinion? Or would you like to be treated like you know how context you know how context and individual opinions on. Oh, I think there's some typos in there. Okay. Would you want someone to hedge and lie to you about your opinion? No, I don't want anyone to lie to me. If you have something to tell me, just tell me. You know, I'm an adventure builder, man. I want the truth. I don't care if the truth hurts. Just tell me. The lies hurt. Lies hurt. Truth doesn't hurt. Lies hurt. Tell me. Or would you like to be treated? Yeah, whatever the other option is. No, wait. Or would you like to be treated like you know how context and individual opinions on? I'm not sure I understand that sentence, but I think the answer is I always want the truth. Just always tell me what you think. Can't wait for the banked track. I'm not even a runner, but it sounds so cool. Yeah, I'm excited about the banked tracks. Like, this is something I've been thinking about since I was a little kid. Like, if you're running on a banked track, it's like running in heavy gravity, right? So it's like super training. It's like, and the more you're up on it, like the more you're leaning, the more it's like running in heavy gravity. So yeah, I'm excited to train in some heavy gravity. Like I got to get this calf fixed. So, you know, I have this little triathlon that I'm supposed to be doing in 2 weeks. So I'm really trying to, you know, fix my calf. The problem is I have like a strain in my calf where it's like kind of knotted up, like in the inside part. So it's like, you know, when you get this knot and your thing is just solid. So I'm like trying to rub it out and it feels horrible. But then if I rub it for like 10 or 15 minutes, then it feels great after that. But it's going to take me taking a lot of effort to get it to loosen up. I've also, I think one of the reasons it's taking so long to really get the knot out is because I'm also doing a lot of like rehab strengthening stuff, so it doesn't happen again. So I've been, you know, doing a lot of calf exercises, which is slowing down the loosening up of it, but it's also just making my calves stronger in general. My right one, that's been doing all the calf exercises, which has no problem. That one's super strong, man. I can hop around like a kangaroo on 1 foot now. So hopefully my left one gets fixed soon, before I get that banked track put together, so I can really test it out. Yo, J-Mac, drill press for machining, best results. Find an old school one, as they used to be made from heavy castings. The garbage today is typically pretty flimsy. Yeah, that's a good point. Although I'm guessing this guy has whatever drill press he has. If you're going to get something else, just go straight for a milling machine. Yeah, what is this boat I hear out here? Yeah, nothing. Goons going past. Yeah, it's a newish O&M. The quill is so wobbly. Yeah, so it's a wobbly drill press. Greetings from Iceland. I was worried about back pressure when you were building walls around your island. How have those held up over the years? Are they bowing out at all? No, they're yeah, the seawalls. So what was it, like almost 10 years ago, like 8 or 9 years ago, I built a seawall all the way around another island, not this island, but another island. Those seawalls are in great condition. I'm actually super impressed. When I built them, I leaned them in against the land. I think if I built them straight up, they would be falling out. But, you know, I leaned them in enough that they haven't had any problems. Like nothing's falling over. They're still leaning. They're just kind of laying on the clay, you know. There is one spot where there was a tree growing right beside the seawall that pushed the seawall out. Fortunately, that spot happens to be where there's land on the other side. So it's like the path that comes into the island. So it's just pushing up against other dirt. So it's not, you know, falling out at all. Everything's totally fine with it. But yeah, the seawall is doing great. I'm really impressed how well that worked out. Oh, get back here. Where? I just opened the window to look out. I think I let a mosquito in. Oh, there's a cricket. Yeah. When a cricket gets in the house, gosh, so loud. Jaimie, do you think children are not getting enough nutrients nowadays? Probably not, like deficiencies from vitamins and minerals. I think children are not getting a lot of stuff they need. Food is one of the things. Like we've got all this, factory farmed food where they deplete the ground, like they deplete the soil, and the food just doesn't have as much nutrition as it used to. Plus, there's all this GMO stuff and all this food that's designed to be bigger, but not actually more nutritious. And probably the worst example of this is like strawberries. You can go to the store and find like giant strawberries that look amazing, and they just taste like nothing. It's like eating a sponge of water, and it just tastes like there's nothing in it. But yeah, food is a huge thing that's lacking, not just for children, for people in general, but definitely for children. And then just things like fresh air and playing in the dirt, like not playing on a tablet all day. This is one of the reasons I moved to Central America. I didn't want to be in North America where all the kids I knew spent all day doing this, So my kids here, they're running around, they're building things, they're doing all kinds of like really mentally and physically stimulating things. And I think that's super important. I think that's something that's missing in a lot of kids' childhoods. Another thing is just good examples. Like I grew up with like no good examples in my life, no good examples of what a person should be. And it took me, when I think about how I was as a kid and a teenager, like I just did a lot of dumb things. I didn't know any better. No one taught me any kind of morals. I just kind of had to stumble through and just screw up and figure things out. Just like good examples and being taught right from wrong, and all. There's so much that kids are just not getting today, and kids haven't been getting for a long time. Parenting, man, parenting fixes or ruins the world. If parenting is not there, a civilization falls apart. If parenting is there, a civilization grows. Parenting is everyone's first most important job. Unless you don't have kids, whatever. But even if you don't have kids, I feel like you should be a good example to the children around you and stuff. Oh, deficiencies. Hunter Biden looking. I don't know what that means. Automatic. Would you bother to fix the quill and get a college chuck, or just get a milling machine if able? I don't know what automatic says, but man, I would say get a milling machine, man. I got mine for, I think it was like $350, something like that, and it's amazing. It's not giant or anything, but it's really cool. Are you afraid of what you in the water and its critters of? I think you're asking, am I afraid of what's in the water and its critters? I don't know. The thing is, like, I swim in the ocean, and my kids swim in the ocean too. And there are things in the ocean that can kill you. I don't know. What are you going to do? Like, there's things that could kill you anywhere. You could try to be safe and sit inside on your couch and not do anything. And then you could go to the bathroom and have a hernia and blow your brain with an aneurysm and die right there. Like, you can't get too hung up on what might be there to kill you. You got to be reasonably safe. And after that, I don't know. Stuff happens, but just do your best. And I guess in terms of being afraid, I don't know. No, I guess not really. My career is a union carpenter. I worked for 15 years doing concrete form work in 10 years building wooden roller coasters. That's awesome. I bet you have a lot of knowledge about wooden roller coasters. I bet you have a ton of knowledge about that. But yeah, I mean, the other stuff, like doing a job that you get paid for, you learn some things, but you can have like 50 years of experience in a job you get paid for, and you're just doing what you're being paid to do. Then some other guy can be not paid to do a similar thing and just trying stuff and experimenting. And in 5 years, you can learn way more than you do in 50 years of just doing what you're told, you know? So don't presume you're an expert just because of time. That's cool about the wooden roller coasters, though. Automatic says, it comes down to what you can afford and what's available. If you can get your hands on a mill, I doubt you will regret it. I love Bridgeports myself. You can practically do anything. Man, if I was in the United States, I would look for a Bridgeport, a big mill, because sometimes you can find them really cheap or even free, because they're like, if someone buys a warehouse or something and it has a bunch of milling machines in there, often they just want to get rid of them because it's like 2 tons of this machine that's just in the way, and it's hard to move if someone will just take it away. I've heard tons of stories about people getting Bridgeport milling machines for free just because they were willing to dismantle it and take it away on the spot, or really cheap, you know. I just got here. What are you talking about? Go to the beginning and just fast forward. I don't know. Andrew, I don't know what that means. Oh, that would take a buttload of spackle. Yeah, to spackle my whole house. Whoa, I'm like way behind on comments now, aren't I? All right, I'm going to try to get through some of these a little faster here. Chris, I don't mean Jaimie's kids, but in general in this world. Why would your answer? Well, someone else can answer the question. If you ask me a question and someone else has an answer to your question, I think it's fine if they answer it. Jaimie works his magic with handheld tools, sees gears and gearing. I get it. Most people like the idea of wanting people to be nice. I love the idea of wanting people to be nice. I don't like the assumption. Canadian BS. I'm sure you see PPE, personal protective equipment. Oh, personal protective equipment, right. Most of it. I don't know. I didn't understand some of that. Personal protective equipment, yeah. A whole bunch of people filled me in on that one. PPE is personal protective equipment. Daniel, I've seen Jaimie's gear machining methods. Very impressive. Love the ingenuity. Awesome stuff. You know, one funny thing is if you make gears and they're a little rough, the more you use them, the more they smooth out. Oh, cricket. Get out of here, cricket. Hold on. Damn. Oh, it's going to drive me nuts if there's a cricket in my house. They're loud enough outside, but inside the house, it's crazy. I've tried to mill aluminum on my drill press. Failed. Used my lathe with 4-jaw chuck instead. Made a drill jig to repair a cam bolt hole. I stripped out. That's cool. Yeah, you can totally use a lathe to mill. It's just you have to. I mean, a lathe and a milling machine are basically the same thing, just with reversed parts. You reverse the tool and the object. True, he's an inspiration to watch and learn from regularly. His experience gives a powerful cross-pollination to accomplish many projects. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, that's actually one of the cool things about doing a lot of different things, and something that experts often miss. Like when someone becomes an expert in one thing specifically, they miss the cross-pollination that you're talking about, you know? And a lot of times when I'm working on something, I'll pull ideas from all kinds of different you know, areas of study, you might say, that I've done. And you know, when you have experience and understanding of a wide range of stuff, you just have more vocabulary to use on your whatever you're doing, you know. What you doing, sir? The FBI. Oh, man. Do they not do cortisol injections for injuries like your leg to speed it up? I don't do injections. I'll just fix it myself. I think there would be sharks and poisonous things in the water near the tropics to be worried about. I have seen a couple sharks around here, not big ones though. And, there's jellyfish, but you can see them if they're in the water. And yeah, like I said, there's always something that can kill you. You can't get too hung up on that. Have you considered turning your solar dozer into a winch donkey? It could be very useful. I've considered a lot of things actually with my solar dozer. So I have this little solar bulldozer up on top of the hill behind my house that I haven't used in a while. I actually stole the motor out of it to put in my planing machine. But I've been thinking about turning it into like a front end loader with a scoop on the front. And then, like a winch on the back would be great. I have a bunch of ideas of things I can do with it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to end up doing. I think there would be sharks. Yeah, bulldozer. I keep my chuck in place using a set screw. Works fine. Mill's good. Just use light cuts. Heavy duty drill press, by the way. Yeah. Peace, Jaimie and Adventure Builders. In a thought experiment. What's going on, man? You made a video the other day about your philosophy in raising children, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Well, thanks, man. I play too much of a video game called World of Warcraft. Yes, I am familiar with it. I've never played myself. However, I've seen people play it. Actually, I used to play Warcraft 2. That was a great game. And then StarCraft and stuff. Many of the people I play with have kids, and they straight up brag about getting their children to watch cartoons or YouTube in order to play more World of Warcraft. Oh, it breaks my heart. That's terrible. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's brutal. Man, spend time with your kids. You know what? If you're really into like World of Warcraft stuff, get your kids bows and arrows and swords and like do some real life adventures, man. I grew up playing video games. Actually, a lot of the a lot of the way I kind of figured out morality and stuff was through video games. Like I was saying earlier, I didn't have a lot of good examples growing up. My parents were divorced and they had their own problems to deal with. So a lot of my youth, I was just kind of on my own to figure things out. So I played video games. And that helped me just kind of like put my mind in different circumstances and stuff. Like RPGs were really good. The Ultima series. Anyway, one of the rules I made myself when I was playing video games was that whatever I did in the video game, I had to do something comparable in real life. So if I went on an adventure into a dungeon and fought my way down to the bottom of the dungeon and then fought my way back out and then, got back to the town safe. And that was like, an hour and a half of playing or 2 hours or whatever. I'd be like, all right, now I have to go on an adventure. And I might go for like a run and carry some rocks with me and pretend this is my equipment. And, it was two things. Like I was getting exercise and I was, telling myself the story of what I did in the video game to keep myself interested in doing the exercise. And then where I grew up, there was this, in Hamilton, Ontario, like half the city's up on this escarpment, a big cliff face, and half the city's at the bottom. And all along this escarpment, it's just a big cliff. It's the same cliff that Niagara Falls falls over, I'm pretty sure. But like not at Niagara Falls, it's a different city. But all along this escarpment, it's just wild. There's rocks and paths going through, and there's no houses or anything there. There's just trails. It's just wilderness. And I'd go running there and climb trees, climb up through waterfalls to climb around and stuff. Oh, it was great. And I would pretend I was on this adventure that I was doing in the video game. So whenever I played video games when I was a kid, I would always make sure I did something comparable in real life to what I was doing in the video game. And I liked it. It was great. The hardest job I ever loved is being a dad. Oh, I hear you, man. Yeah, totally. Everything you just said. The hardest job I ever loved is being a dad. Being a dad is amazing, but it's hard. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The hardest thing is knowing that if you screw up, it's not just screwing up that day. Like you're screwing up in a way that's going to last after you're dead. Like you can screw up your kids in a way that's going to last them their entire life. So it's like a lot of pressure. You got to do a good job. But on the other hand, you have a lot of instincts. You have parenting instincts as long as you like focus on them and let them work and let them do their thing. And don't get sucked into World of Warcraft too much. Yeah, a lot of this stuff, it just works itself out, Thanks, Jaimie Stuff. Between you and Automatic, I can now write off the quilt of buying a micro mill. Dude, that's going to be awesome. I loved your parenting comment. It's our most important job. Yes, being a parent, most important job. I definitely consider that my most important job. And that doesn't mean I don't do other things. Like I still have to do all the other stuff, but it's always through the filter of my kids can see what I'm doing. I'm being an example to them every day in everything I'm doing. Even if I'm not doing things with them at the time, they see me either working hard or being lazy. They see my example, And I also try to spend a lot of time with them. Yeah, parenting, super important thing. Bridgeports are feckin' lovely, however massive. One day, yeah, I would love to have one here, but yeah, they're huge. If you build your running track out of planks ripped into 2-inch wide strips, then nailed those strips together on a 4x4 setting, the slope makes for a strong floor. It's how gym floors are built. All right, let me see. Planks ripped into 2-inch wide strips, then nailed those strips together on a 4x4 setting. Yeah, that's pretty close to what I'm doing. Mine are going to be 1-inch thick because they have to bend because they got to bend around the thing. So I'm only making my board 1-inch thick. That should be able to bend pretty easily the curve that I'm doing, I think, but we'll see. Wooden coasters are the same way, but 6 layers thick. I see. Oh, Kasikatonen getting mad that someone else answered a question that was directed at you is the perfect example of we live in an age of outrage. Yeah, I gotta say, I kind of agree with you there. If you're in a chat room and you ask a question, I feel like it's kind of like open to anyone to answer, like me or anyone here, I think that's totally fair. But if you don't care about anyone else's answer, you can just ignore it. It's pretty easy to do. To be nice is to imply you think someone is weak, egocentric, and unable to contextualize. Yeah, the whole like being nice means you're weak thing. It's just getting so old and tired. Like it doesn't take strength to be mean. It takes strength to be kind and thoughtful. And like for example, in reading all these comments here, it'll be super easy for me to just give like smart ass sarcastic responses to everything, particularly anything that could be construed as critical or insulting. But it definitely takes more strength and thoughtfulness and courage to actually try to give real responses. Let's see. So cool to randomly drop by and see you doing a live video. Well, thanks, man. Been following your journey since you were in Vermont, building your geodome. I love that dome. That place was awesome. With the 2-inch strips of overlapping by 6 foot joints, it's how the track beams are built. to just more layers. Roller coaster train weighs the same as a loaded concrete truck when fully loaded. Okay. I've heard shark meat is tasty. You try? I have not tried shark meat. I've heard about shark fin soup. That's supposed to be a big thing. I don't know anything about. Yeah, I don't know anything about shark meat. I'll have to try it sometime. Okay. This guy has a question. Have you thought to make any kind of aquaculture or water farming type stuff? Yes, definitely. I've definitely thought about that. I would like to. Oh, cricket, get out of here. Why are the crickets coming in here today? Oh, out the window. No. No, come on. There we go. Out the window. It must be because I have this light on. I'm all interested in coming in. Oh, man. RuneScape, Ultima Online. I escaped by figuring out you can do real WoW stuff in the real world by becoming a craftsman. It's always funny when you do stuff in the real world, right? And then people say, "Oh, it's just like you're playing, Warcraft or Starcraft. It's just like a video game." And you're like, "No. The video game is trying to be like real life. The real life came before." Oh, but it's just backwards for a lot of people now. Go for a LARP, live action role play. Maybe I should set up some LARP in here. I mean, my kids do LARP like all day. It's hilarious. Like if I'm just busy doing stuff for a few hours and I'm in and out of the house, like when I'm digging, I keep coming in for a drink because I gotta stay hydrated, But I'll come in for a drink every 10 or 15 minutes and just keep going. But I'll come in and they'll be like running around the second floor, full blast, screaming about one of them is a dragon and I'm going to get you. And they got swords and there's stuff and there's a wizard. And then I'll go out and come back 20 minutes later. And now it's like there's like My Little Ponies doing magic and stopping stuff. And I don't know. It's like it gets crazy in here. It's hilarious. This is what happens when kids don't have, tablets and phones to play on all the time. They actually do stuff in real life. Start making up crazy games in their own head. The worst game, though, I gotta admit, is the lava game. Oh, some of you parents know what I'm talking about with the lava game. The lava game is when the floor is lava, which means, they have to pull all this stuff out to put all over the floor, to jump from thing to thing, and then the entire house, the entire floor is just covered in like planks of wood and like, I don't know, like a scooter and like a hammer and like just like stuff all over the place to jump from thing to thing. So we've kind of gotten off the lava game, which is nice. That was great. Let's see. I never imagined you as a fantasy video game person, but now that I think about it, I'm not sure where that assumption came from, considering you wear chainmail in your daily life. Aha, exactly. And a lot of the stuff I do is just, oh God, I don't know if you can hear this music. Can you hear this music? This is my idiot neighbor who's just like, I need to make sure that everyone for miles around can hear my music. It's so childish. Anyway, like a lot of my life is kind of inspired by video games. Like in video games, like I loved going on these adventures, and I'm like, well, in real life, I want to go on adventures in real life. Like I want it to be adventurous. I don't want to sit around just doing what I'm told. I want to, totally video game life. And actually, when I used to play video games, I still play video games now and then, but I remember when I was playing Ultima 6, actually, it was when I was playing Ultima 6, I started thinking about just looking at my real life as if it were a video game. And in my real life, I would say, okay, I don't really know what I want to do right now. What would I do if right now this was Ultima 6? What would I be doing? I wouldn't just be sitting here doing nothing. I would be doing something, and then I would get all inspired to do stuff. I had dirt bikes. This is Chris. I had dirt bikes when I grew up, There were no other kids around because we were way out in the forest, but I had nearly endless trails and I would ride all day, not hitting the same trail twice. That sounds super fun. That's cool. Shadowmancer, what's up, man? It about killed me watching those woods get cut down for subdivisions. Ow! There were some woods where I grew up, right across the street. There's like right across the street and down a little bit. There was this little cul-de-sac, and it didn't have any houses, but right behind it was a big, huge open field. Sometimes it had corn, and right behind that was just like forest. And the kids, I and the kids on the street would go into the forest and build forts and tree forts and all this stuff. Have so much fun. And yeah, that forest is all gone. Let's see. Let's see. I can't go back to the beginning and turn up the speed. Weird new setting. I don't know. I noticed when I started this live, there were all kinds of weird, like the settings were different than they were last time I did them. And there was stuff. I usually do my lives, horizontal, but there was no option for that today. I guess you can't do them horizontal anymore. Let's see. Sorry, it's hard to explain things with the character limit on live comments. Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about. Wizard of the North. If you can't care about someone else's answer, you can just ignore it. Yeah, totally. I always laugh when someone in your comments gets mad that you upload a certain type of video. Yeah, I don't like clickbait or anything. I make it pretty clear what the videos are, generally speaking. So if you click on a video and it's not what you were expecting, even though the title's totally telling you what it is, I mean, what do you want me to do? Maybe they're only watching you for build videos and don't want to watch your philosophy videos, and they get mad at you uploading something they don't like. Just ignore it, man. Yes, that definitely happens. But then the opposite happens too. Like some people watch for the philosophy videos. So, I mean, definitely more people watch for the building videos. So I always try to make it clear what every video I put up is. But I don't know. There are people who can't be satisfied no matter what you do. Okay, what do you think about using weather balloons filled with hydrogen to lift heavy loads? Could the idea work? Yeah, I guess it could work. I feel like that's going to be a lot of hassle though, because like you get a bit of wind and like I'm just thinking, like, say I've got something heavy on my boat and I want to bring it to the house. Put up a big weather balloon with hydrogen and take some weight off the thing so it's easier to carry. But then the weather balloon's going to get caught on tree branches or the rope wheel or whatever. And then if there's wind, it's going to be moving the thing around. And then I can get it to my house, but I can't get it in my house because the weather balloon, I got to put it down. I don't know. It sounds like more trouble than it's going to be worth. But probably in certain circumstances, it'd be great. Let's see. To be honest, I'm 32, and I think I'd still find the floor is lava fun. Shrug. Oh, the floor is lava game. The lava game is totally fun. I play it with them too. But the problem is then there's stuff all over the floor, and it probably yeah. There's a lot of stuff in my house that I don't want all over the floor. Partly because my first floor is still partly storage for the upper floors and for a workshop, and there's just a lot of stuff. Let's see. Shadowmancer says maybe it could be the lava destroys everything that isn't supposed to be on the ground, so cleaning up the clutter and putting things away gets points. That's true, man. Mr. Landfill, I played Ultima 6 on a Commodore 64. What did you play on? I did not play Ultima 6 when it first came out. Wait, no, maybe I did, actually. Oh, yeah, I played Ultima 6 a long time ago. I don't know what the computer was. It was an IBM something, a PC. I don't know the details, though. But then I played Ultima 6 on the first computer I got, which was a 486 SX. And I got the upgraded hard drive, which was 256 megabytes. Yes, megabytes. I think I had 2 megabytes of RAM or 4. No more than 8. I think I had 4 or something. Yeah, that was a great game. Those games were amazing. If anyone out there wants to play some RPGs and you've never played the Ultima series, I would even say it's worth starting with Ultima 1 and going all the way up to Ultima 6. After Ultima 6, I think it kind of fell apart. But Ultima 1 to 6, the 1 and 2 are pretty kind of rudimentary. If you don't like dealing with like really old school stuff, the first one that was like a really polished product was Ultima 3. So you can start with Ultima 3 and then go 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's and don't look up any cheats or anything. Like actually play the games, and particularly with Ultima 4, I played that one beginning to end without looking up any stuff. That was a really cool experience. And when you get to the end, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say anything direct for anyone who wants to play. Okay, what do you think about using weather balloons? Wait. The lava game. Oh yeah. I'm never satisfied. You need 10 times clones so you can do more projects and entertain my fat, lazy self. No, you get up. You get up and entertain yourself. Entertain us. He said anus. Oh, did you write a book about how big the universe was? What was the name? I did write a book. It's called How Big is the Universe? And I just printed out a bunch of copies and sold a bunch. And I didn't even make enough money selling the books to pay for the printer that I used to print out the books. But I mean, I got kind of an expensive printer, and I mostly paid it off. But it was a pretty fun experience. And the book should be on my website. I'm pretty sure it's on my website. I've not been updating my website because I'm just like busy all the time. Shout out to Pitfall by Activision. I ran and jumped imaginary crocodiles all day. That's awesome. Son of Beast was a record breaker, but it had problems with the wood quality. All right, I just got disconnected there for a second. I don't know why this is going in and out, but Son of Beast, it's a roller coaster apparently. Or Karma, thanks, man. That's great. Well, it looks like I'm at the end of comments. So I'm at the end of comments right now, which means if anyone wants to have a back and forth, like I forgot what his name was, Sean, like Sean was saying earlier, now would be a time to ask a question because we're zero lag now. I'm right at the end of comments. Javier says, any updates on the underwater air-filled dome? That looked fun. No updates on that. Oh, see, this is who is just saying I need a bunch of clones? Yeah, if I had 10 clones, one of them would be building an underwater dome, an underwater house. One would be building a flying machine. Oh, one would be starting on a giant robot. Oh yeah. Oh man, there's so much stuff I want to work on. We'd probably, if there were 10 of me right now, we'd probably be fighting over who gets to do the coolest project. Because, there's still things like a bunch of digging that has to happen, just moving heavy stuff. Although I'm a pretty reasonable person. We just split all that stuff. All right. Well, I think if no one else has any more comments, if anyone has any last minute questions or anything, shoot now or forever hold your peace until next week. But yeah, hey, what's up, Joe Blow? How's it going, man? Yeah, I'm just finishing up here, I think. Have you ever considered making dock floats for money? Yes, could be a pretty good source of income if you got the styrofoam for free. Yes, I definitely thought about doing that. I may in fact do that. First, I need to make one for myself and, test it out and make sure it's good and everything, which I've not yet done. I do actually have some styrofoam that I can use for it, although I might make that into a dome. Again, I need 10 Jaimies to do all the stuff that I'm doing. Anyway, Mr. Landfill, be safe, everyone. Yes, tuned in at the perfect moment. Meritocracy of clones. Yes, clones. I need to be cloned. Oh, Lois says, I have a question. Did you emotionally struggle with leaving past projects like Vermont and Big Robots, etc.? How do you deal with it? I did not emotionally struggle. I don't remember exactly when this happened, but I remember when I was very young, I would have difficulty letting things go. But at some point, I'm sure if I think back, I can remember why. But at some point, it changed, and I realized there's no point in worrying about what's behind, because I'm not doing that anymore. But focus on what I'm doing. Like, focus on the future. Like, the past is there to learn from. The past isn't there to like kind of get sucked into, even though you can get sucked into the past sometimes, and it can be a little draining. But I just learned to let things go behind me. For example, when I left my place in Vermont, once I decided that I was selling it, I made the decision that once I've sold it to someone else, that's it. I go somewhere else, and I don't have to think about that place anymore. It's a beautiful place. I have amazing memories there. But once I left, it wasn't my thing anymore. It wasn't my not part of my path anymore. It was part of my past, not part of my path, So I just didn't keep up with what was going on there. I didn't ask about it or worry about it or think about it, and just focused on what I'm doing now. And then, I guess that's the answer to the question. I generally focus on what I'm doing and what I'm keep doing. But maybe at some point when I get old, I'll slow down and think more about the past. But yeah, right now I'm still in the phase where I'm just going. So I have plenty to think about in the now and in the future. Wizard of the North says, thanks for the stream, Jaimie. Inspiring as always. Anytime someone says the word stream, I think of a pea stream. You have to excuse my brain. I especially loved your advice about adventuring in a video game, then going out and doing something equivalent in real life. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Have a good one. Have a great week. Thanks for all the entertainment. You're very welcome. Hey, Mr. Landfill, remember the past, plan for the future, live in the present. That's a good way to put it. Remember the past, plan for the future, live in the present. That's a great way to put it, Mr. Wizard. Wizard of the North. Not Call of Duty, though. I never got into Call of Duty and those kind of war games. I did play like Doom 2 and Quake and stuff like that. But I like shooting the monsters. I don't like shooting other people. I felt like that was kind of the boring part. You are great to watch on TV. Well, thanks, man. Okay. I think that's good. I've been going on for almost 2 hours. I think I'm ready for a drink and a snack. And everyone have an excellent evening or morning or, day, night, whatever you got, wherever you are. And I will see you, I don't know, whenever.